Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's been almost a month since Lowndes County deputies discovered a body in a burned out car. And while they have some clues to the identity, coroners have specific steps before they can make official confirmation and notification. The time it takes to identify a person who died without identification depends on the methods used, and that can vary from a few hours to a few weeks, and in some cases it's even months. Our Kamari Hamer talked to Lowndes County Coroner Greg Merchant today about the process of making the identification. Kamari is joining us in the studio tonight with that story. Kamari.
Well, Andrea, it's been 3 weeks since the body was found near Luxapalila Creek Park Road, and investigators are still trying to figure out the identity of the victim. Coroners are always called to a death scene, and they work closely with detectives to find a name for a victim and their families. Coroners usually rely on fingerprints, visual identification, and other forms of identification to figure out the identity of a dead body. They also depend on DNA samples from possible relatives. Lowndes County Coroner Greg Merchant says identifying a deceased victim is no easy process.
We have to scientifically prove this in some matter through dental records, scars, marks, tattoos, and DNA. In this situation, the only thing that we have is DNA. But the problem with DNA, you have to have a known sample of a relative, mother, father, sibling, a child. And so we have to kind of establish the fact of who this is before we can start reaching out to get those DNA samples, known samples. So, of course, it takes 2 samples, one from the deceased and one from a known relative. And so it's kind of a run, walk, crawl. You know, you got to crawl before you can run. So it's a slow process at times.
Merchant says he expects the autopsy of the victim to become available within the next 10 days.